morning, everybody. Game time, Brian, otherwise known as the. Oh, wait, no, it's game time. Otherwise known as the mailman. On my day off today. Got a busy, busy day planned ahead, but I wanted to get my morning video out. Um, it's a very tumultuous time in Cowboy land. Now, as I lead off uh, this video, I want to give a shout out to the people who actually are fishing in the big pond of free agents. Seldom does it work. I will just be honest with you. Just look at the past Super Bowl wins. Last time, in my opinion, that it worked was with the Philadelphia Eagles. And they did it with a backup quarterback, right? They did it with a backup quarterback. So even when you put all the pieces together to build a great football team, it doesn't always work out. Look at what happened to the 49ers last year. I've said this time and time again. The Niners were better than the Chiefs, player for player, by a lot. Niners had a 14-point lead. Patrick Mahomes threw an interception at his own 30-yard line, or going into the red zone. At his own 30. Sorry. They were up 14-0 in the Super Bowl, or they were down 14-0 in the Super Bowl and threw an interception right outside their own red zone. And their defense shut them down, and the game took a turn. The year prior, the Eagles were the better team against the 49ers. Against the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, one thing led to another. Jalen Hurts fumble 6, wet field. The defense really couldn't stop anybody that day, but who can stop Mahomes? Player for player, the Eagles are the better team. Where I'm going with this is you can go get all the players you want. Usually those teams don't win, but I want to give a shout out. I think what the Eagles have done so far, I was pretty much on it a month ago when I was hearing rumblings that C.J. Gardner-Johnson was coming back. I thought they'd be in on Patrick Queen, but they ended up really liking the New York Jets, Huff, whatever Huff it is. I don't know much about him. I know he put up some good numbers. I think it's more about Vic Fangio and what the Eagles want to do, which is why they're trying to unload Josh Sweat, which is why they're trying to unload Hassan Reddick. As an Eagle, I'm not a fan of the Eagles, but I live in the area, and a lot of my subscribers are Eagle fans. And just being honest, just a little bit outside of the bubble here as far as homerism, you need to find a way to keep Hassan Reddick and make it work. But as a Cowboy, he's a thorn in our ass. So, curious that Dallas is trying to trade with Philly to get Hassan Reddick. Very, very interesting. Now, I'm not surprised that Dallas wasn't involved in the first a couple days of free agency. Really not. It's just I'm more surprised at the aggressiveness by the Eagles, not with the edge rusher, because I think they needed it, right? Not with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, because I called it. Saquon Barkley paying over $12 million. The Eagles are the one that set the standard. We're going back years, early Howie Roseman days, when they let Brian Dawkins go, right? They let Brian Dawkins go because they're not going to pay a guy. They're not going to extend contracts to anybody 30 years or older. Now, I think you have to move the line on there occasionally, and I think they made a mistake in the B-Dawk situation. He should have never left the nest, so to speak. But so very surprising that they're giving that kind of money. A lot of people in the NFL are surprised, but this is all new money. All this money that came from the salary cap, Eagles are putting it right to use. We could disagree on maybe not going to get Barkley, bringing back Swift, or there's a lot of other cheaper options. But hey, I commend the Eagles for going as hard as they went after him. We'll see how it works out. Um, as a Cowboy fan, having Barkley on the Eagles doesn't worry me any more or less than if you had Swift. Mixon might have been scary. Mixon does it all, and he's powerful. But again, he's explosive. So we'll see how that all plays out. But kudos to the Eagles. Kudos to the Giants for being aggressive and getting Brian Burns. They didn't even have to give up a first-round pick to do it, which I was telling Mark the other day on the live stream. These days, when you trade a player, you're not going to get the return you think, especially if that player is making a lot of money. That's just the way it works. So Justin Fields being in Chicago, I think he ultimately gets traded, but it's going to be for pittance. You see what Mac Jones went for, a sixth and a seventh? We could all laugh about Mac Jones, but Mac Jones is a starter in the league just last year. Just drafted, what, two years ago? So very surprising, but, the Giants are going to get better. Washington is making a lot of moves. I just want to, all my Commanders fans, kudos for making those moves. You had all this money, over $100 million. I said they were going to be very good, very active. I like Austin Eckler. I think that's a good move. Tyler Biadasz is a below average, center, so I'm not worried about that. Dorrance Armstrong, I love the player. At $15 million, I can't pay that. Dorrance Armstrong is a situational pass rusher at best. You maximized his value. Dorrance, see you later. Actually, I think Dante Fowler, who the Commanders signed last night, is better than Dorrance Armstrong getting to the pass. The quarterback. Again, Fowler's going to follow Dan Quinn. He's already on record. He got him in Florida he got him out of the University of Florida. He went to Atlanta, went to Dallas. Now he's going to follow him for the rest of his career. Dante Fowler, situational guy. I thought he was better than Dorrance. But, all honesty. So, but there's nobody that they went out and got other than I like Frankie Louvu. Frankie Louvu was an actual upgrade in Austin Eckler. He didn't do much last year, but he's a talented guy. But just because you're spending money doesn't mean it's going to necessarily compute. I thought they would be in on some more. I thought they would be in on a Danielle Hunter. I thought they would be in on a Patrick Queen. The fact that they weren't, I thought they would be in on a Leonard Williams. I thought they would be in. I was kind of surprised. Very, very surprised. So I'm not. Thanks for the comp picks, Commanders. Good luck. It's war now, you know what I mean? But what I'm getting at here is I'm looking, and Patrick Mahomes here. Let me share my screen with you guys. Here you go. We'll go here. Here we go. There we go. Patrick Mahomes restructures contract. Now, to create $21.6 million in cap room. Now, this is what I was saying that they could easily do with Dallas. Dallas will make room for a particular player. They were never going to play in this pond in the first couple of days. In this, we'll call it an aquarium. There's a huge aquarium right now. Huge aquarium. And all the big fish are getting caught now. Dallas is going to wait until you got the little smaller fish, right, that are starving. And then they're just going to drop a hook, maybe spray a little something on the hook, and they'll pull out some. You can't help but catch a fish at that point, right? If these fish will be in a frenzy at that point, just looking for a decent contract. So that's what we'll do. We'll be able to fill in some gaps. I was surprised Eric Hendricks was signed last night, so he's off the board. Not that I wanted Eric Hendricks, but the Niners thought well enough to bring him in, probably because of the loss of Dre Greenlaw in the Super Bowl. Eric Kendricks on the cheap. That's all they could afford. Makes a lot of sense. I thought he would come to Dallas, but Dallas is on a yacht right now. Dallas and Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, and Forehead, or the grandson, are probably all on a yacht, living large. And enjoy yourselves while everybody else is working hard trying to improve their team. Patrick Mahomes restructures contract to create $21.6 in cap space for Chiefs. Let's break down the article. Less than 24 hours after the NFL's new league year, Kansas City Chiefs made an expected move. An expected move. The Chiefs converted $27 of Patrick Mahomes' contract to create $21.6 basically just extending it out. It's not anything. This is what they could easily do with a few players on the Cowboys. They haven't yet, but they will. They have to. They have to. Here's the deal. This structure, Mahomes' contract, the longest in sport at 10 years. He already has a 10-year deal. Will designed for this exact move by converting this amount in roster bonus in Mahomes' contract into a signing bonus. Basically adding years onto not adding years, but your voidable years to the contract. What does that mean? Well, they want to get a receiver, a veteran wide receiver. So they're going to go out and get a veteran wide receiver. And I believe they're going to sign one. I said it a month ago, 3 weeks ago. They are going to sign Tyron Smith. Mark my words. They're going to get him on a rather cheap deal, maybe a fully guaranteed type deal. Maybe it'll be 3 years, $30 million. Maybe not fully guaranteed. Maybe 3 years, 36 with like 28 guaranteed. So maybe that's what it is. But let's see here. Did they say anything? Yeah. Basically, look for them to go out and get a left tackle, then Tyron Smith, and look for them to get a veteran wide receiver. So I'm only bringing that up. Because you can easily do anything. So, I made a comment that Tyron's not gone. He's gone, people. He should go. He should go to a team. Listen, if Dallas wins, they're going to have to hit a home run in the draft. They're going to go out and get some lower-level free agents to fill out there. Listen, nobody that Dallas has lost yet is going to cost us anything. Okay? Now, you could say, oh, well, Tyler Biotis, and now if Tyron leaves. Listen, we were moving on from them. We've already identified, out of the 16 free agents that we had, I wanted 3 of them back. Now, I said, okay, maybe 4, meaning Tyron would be the 4th. Stephon Gilmore, we still need to bring him back. Okay, I expect him back. He wants to be back, but at some point he has to go and make his money. This is his final money grab. If Dallas doesn't show any real interest in offering him anything, then he ain't gonna be here. But I need Gilmore. I expect Gilmore back. The fact that we gave up a 5th-round draft pick for him in this year's draft, I believe it's this year's upcoming draft. Now we have since replaced it with a comp pick. That's what they do, and that's getting to my next point. I want Gilmore back. We re-signed our long snapper, which is what we had to do, and I want Jonathan Hankins back. We'll see. If Hankins don't come back, then it'll be a little interesting, but I expect him back. The 4th guy would have been Tyron Smith. I was okay. Draft a young one and start him until he breaks down. Tyron is due to lose a whole year soon between his back injuries, his shoulder injuries, his neck injuries, his torn hamstring in training camp. Just not even a contact. It was just a non-contact drill. So, and the only other guy who I'm hearing rumors that they might bring back is a Jordan Lewis. And I wouldn't have a problem with that. A little slot guy, he's been with the organization a while. He's had some injuries as of late. If you can get him with a right enough deal. Everybody else I expected them to go. And once Dan Quinn got a job with Washington, I told you that he was going to suck up a lot of the guys. It was smart by him getting a Biotish because now it fills another hole. But whether he's in Washington or somebody else, we were moving on from our center. Everybody forgets that we have Brock Hoffman on the team. Brock Hoffman is a mammoth of a guy who played a little center when he was banged up. Brock Hoffman was the guy, if you watch, the sounds of the sidelines, he was the guy towards the end of the year when he was activated in the middle of the team in the pre-game, hype up. He's a very vocal, more than capable backup center. We don't know how good he can get. We have a center to start the team, the season and play ball. We have other people on the practice squad that play center. It's not like we don't have a center. The only thing that the Tyler Biotish that we're going to miss, he was the play caller of the offensive line. So, okay, but that was the positive, Tyler. Enjoy your time in the DMV, okay? But where you struggled was against the Eagles. Anybody that had a big boy in the middle, anybody that had a big defensive tackle in the middle, you allowed pressure, and you allowed pressure badly. You could not get to the second level. In trying to run the ball in the NFL, what's the thing that you try and do? Your offensive line needs to make their block, and especially the center and the guards, get to this, to the second level and get to them linebackers. He could not do that. So he wasn't coming back. So everybody's saying everybody that we lost. Okay, if there's one guy, Danielle Hunter was a pipe dream, and I was connecting the dots because of Mike Zimmer. Fine. We all knew we weren't getting him. Derrick Henry, you couldn't have brought Derrick Henry here. That way it lightens up the load a little bit going into the draft, and we're going to draft. I'm going to do a video later, probably this afternoon. I got to go out and do a few things. I got to go to the gym. I got to go outside and do some work. I got my live stream at 3 o'clock, Free Agent Frenzy, and then me and Primetime Phil. Tonight we got our Hump Day Live to review everything. But I'll try and get a video out later in the middle of all that. But where I'm getting with this is it's not the end of the world, people. Everybody wants to say that it is. I'm reactionary. I'm a fan. I'm a fan just like you guys. Oscar Perini, he always texts me and he sends me messages. Oscar, we're going to be okay. Mark Holmes is under the assumption that we are rebuilding. Now, I got news for everybody. When you flip over your roster 40% every year, which all NFL teams do, you're always rebuilding. Not to have Cowboys back, Stephen Jones, because I don't like most of the things that he says or does. Your job is as contracts, and you continually do bad contracts. And I think a lot of it is Stephen Jones is a smart man, far smarter than me. It's the timing of the contracts. That's why I look at Howie Roseman and I appreciate when he attacks a contract 2 years. And he does it in the right way. Not always. Carson Wentz was a mistake. It's not like this is not an exact science, but when you continue to allow your best players to earn all the leverage in every contract, I have a problem. The only thing else I would say, Stephen Jones, is don't be so quick to offer a guy coming off an ACL or has drop foot or a mega contract. Maybe let them play on the last year of the deal like you do with our good players. You know what I mean? And the main problem I have is our owner sticking his foot in his mouth. I wish that all the local media would say, no, Jerry, we don't want to go on your bus. We don't want to have an interview with you. They'll never do it because they're suckasses who need to have they can't write articles. They're waiting for him to stick his foot in his mouth. That's what That's what they're doing, Jerry. You inviting them onto your bus. They're waiting for you to stick your foot in your mouth like you did again this year when you said, well, we're going all in. Of course we're going all in. And then Stephen Jones got wind of that and literally was rebuting that the next morning. Oh, well, I think what he meant was this. I think what the senile old man meant was that. Now, I love Jerry. Jerry, I love you, bro. I love you. But let's just call it how it is. You're not calling the shots anymore. So why don't you just give the GM to your son and let him run it into the ground? So, but there is hope, Oscar. Oscar, there's hope. And the hope I would tell Oscar is, now, DJ Reader is in Detroit interview. Is, so my guy DJ Reader that I liked, defensive tackle, doesn't look like we're getting him. So that's not the bright news. But the Baltimore running back who tore his ACL last year, I can't think of his name. Let me see here. I've been saying it on and on and on. Let me see here. Best available. Let's see here. I'll remember it by the time. Oh, here we go. Best available is. Huh. I'll find it. Best available. There we go. Well, before I get to that, we got Calvin Ridley. Tyron Smith is gone. Justin Simmons probably don't fit with the Cowboys. Chase Young, he's only 25. Maybe Chase Young. Josh Reynolds, expect him possibly to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kyle Duggar, safety. No. DJ Reader, he's 30. He's the guy I want. No to Odell Beckham. No, thank you. We might go in on one of these offensive linemen. Andres Pete of the Saints. Isaiah Wynn, guard of the Dolphins. I know they liked him coming out of the draft. Bud Dupree, he's 31. Devin White. Devin White's still out there. He's only 26 years old. Give me a Devin White to play linebacker, Oscar. Alexander Mattinson. Do you like him, running back? We're still going to draft a back, yeah, Oscar. But Alexander Mattinson, he was kind of explosive. I mean, we got Calais Campbell. He's 38 years old. He's a defensive tackle. Maybe we get him on the cheap. The dude is huge and still can stop the run. Stephon Gilmore, we need back. Tre'Davious White, nah, I don't think we can afford him. Ezekiel Elliott. Ooh, Zeke. He's only 29. Wow. Look out for this name. Marquise Brown, wide receiver of the Cardinals. Marquise Brown is a dark horse to be with the Cowboys. You remember, he played with CeeDee Lamb in college. Marquise Brown, wide receiver. I would, I would kick the tires on him. I'm still trying to find that running back. Bobby Wagner's out there, Oscar. You like Bobby Wagner? You like you some Bobby Wagner? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, no thank you. Quandre Diggs, loved him as a safety. There's a lot of, there's a lot out there. Let me see. Sheldon Rankins. I love me some Sheldon Rankins. There's a lot of players out there, Oscar. Let's see here. Let's see. J.K. Dobbins. There he is. Sorry it took me so long. J.K. Dobbins, if I had a running back I'd like to get, think about it. He hurt himself last year from ACL. He'll be ready by training camp. Um, he's going to be ready at some point, like full speed. He's going to want to make his value higher going into free agency. Sign him on a 1-year deal. Yeah, make it small. You figure if if some of these running backs, or if Zach Moss got $4 million a year, give him 2.4 mil for 1 year. Bring him in. You know, even if it's for a veteran minimum, he might want to do it to play for the Cowboys, to be their best running back right now, going into the draft, which we're going to get one, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to do some more mocks. Probably wait till this weekend coming up to do another one, 3.0, now that free agency and for the most part all the big fish have been taken up. There's a lot out there, people. There's a lot. Just because we didn't get the names, I don't know what name anybody really wanted. I guess it's Derrick Henry. Okay. Again, if there's one position I didn't want to spend a lot in free agency, which surprised me that the Eagles did based on they're the ones who started this and got to the Super Bowl with that mentality. That's the other thing that surprised me. They went for Barkley. It's like, you were the team that said, hey, you don't need to do it with an expensive running back. But I like not spending money on a major, like a lot of money. And you got to remember, all of our dead money at running back, we're still paying for Zeke Elliott, like around $7 million this year. In their mind, that's going towards, it's dead money. It counts for on the cap. That's going towards that percentage that they want to pay for that position, which is why me and Mark were saying $3 million, with the insider that went to us and said they're not getting a Derrick Henry, which is why I wasn't upset when he signed with the Ravens, because I knew he wasn't coming to Dallas. So that being said, it's not all bad. There's a ton of free agents. This is where you get the value, is now. From here on out, you get the value in the draft. There's going to be big contracts still, but you're going to get a lot of value. A lot of these players want to go for a 1-year deal to enter free agency next year and hopefully explode. We've done it many times in the past with players. This isn't a league where you keep players unless you're a quarterback, wide receiver, or an offensive tackle, maybe a corner, where you play long term with one team. It's not the way it is anymore. It's plug and play draft. So, and I'm looking forward to see, with all these picks that we're going to have next year, moving some of them to move up this year to fill even more spots. So it's not all doom and gloom, okay? But that being said, I'm coming up on a half hour. I got a lot to do today. I will be live at 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock Eastern. Check me out. Most likely Mark Holmes will be on at some point with me. We're going to go over all the happenings in the NFL when all these deals finally do get official, because nobody has signed pen to paper. They're not allowed to until 4 o'clock today. So anyway, that's it. Game time, Brian, otherwise known as the Mailman. We'll see you a little later. Peace. Late.